Right here we have Aman with us on the Hawk podcast, and Aman is a producer who doesn't advertise himself as a producer. I've known Aman for how long? How long have I known you for?
I can't remember. It's been a long time, bro.
So here's how I describe you to people who don't know you. I like to describe you as that kid that was at my high school. Funny enough, that was in the corner making music, making beats, and you were doing that since high school. So how long was that ago, if you don't mind telling?
So I mean, I've actually been producing since I was like 10. I used to. I had a demo of FL Studio, and to me it was just like a video game, you know. So
yeah,
I really didn't think of what I was doing at the time. I was just having fun. And later on, like as time went past, like I realized what I was doing. I was making beats. I was being a music producer. So that led to me learning music theory and getting into like actual production, you know.
Okay.
So I've been doing production for more than 12 years now.
Jesus fuck, bro. Okay. And you've been doing it for a very long time. Funny enough, when I got into music, those who know me, I know I've gotten a little bit into music. I've dabbled around with it as well. You have been one of my producers actually for one song, which I do have.
Oh, no way.
I swear to God, I still have it. I have it on my notes. I haven't obviously posted anywhere because I'm doing music no more. But
send it to me after. I want to hear it. Yeah, I actually want to hear it.
All right, we can do that for sure. But you've been dabbling with this for such a long time, and you've been very exposed to the music industry. But you've figured out some very, very creative ways on how to kind of capitalize on your music industry. So what do you say?
So essentially, like the past few years, I realized, well, first I wanted to make money off music because I enjoyed doing it. I was like, why not have fun while making money at the same time? So I'm not a businessman at heart. I'm a musician. I like making music for fun. So the first thing I realized was the easiest way that I can start to make money off music is audio engineering. And basically like recording people, making them sound professional. And through that, because I realized, yeah, I can produce beats, but I can only produce so many beats. Most of the time people just record on, they just record on YouTube beats. So what if they can just come to me and I can record them and I can make their song professional and ready to be put on Spotify and stuff. So I got into that. I think I really just started my recording studio right after COVID.
Okay.
Because everything just was on lockdown. There wasn't really much to do. So I just locked myself in a room. I taught myself everything about professional audio engineering. It's a little bit different than production because you have to do more like math, I guess.
Okay.
Learning about the frequencies and learning about how to properly set compressors and stuff like that. And essentially, like, I learned it. And I figured it out. And I started getting really good at it. And it was funny. I would just start off by recording friends in my small room. And basically, from there, I built out to record in my friend's even bigger room.
Okay.
Which is where I currently have my studio now. And then from there, like this past year, I was blessed with the opportunity to go to a bunch of different award-winning studios, like record label studios, basically, and work out of there. And essentially, like what I learned is as an audio engineer, I have the flexibility to be able to work wherever I want. I could work however I want.
Whenever you want. Exactly.
No one's there to tell me what to do. So I was my own boss at that point.
Okay.
And it gave me the flexibility and freedom to basically do whatever I want in the music industry. Because now, as an audio engineer, I learned like one of the hardest things in music, which is sounding professional. Now I can get back into music production and make my beats sound even better. Yeah. And now it's 2023.
Okay. So
this year
just started. Okay.
Yeah, it just started. So this year I want to focus on myself being an artist and songwriter. Okay. Because just being around, I learned so much from artists. I absorb stuff. Okay. And being in a studio environment, I've worked with so many artists, pop artists, rap artists, rock artists.
Let's talk about that for a second, because you went from the kid that was in high school to the kid that was hanging out with high-end artists. Okay. Yeah. Not only were you producing for some of them, you were also just literally chilling with them. And people were like, what the fuck is Aman doing? So in regards to that, you had a very interesting story. I've heard just a little bit about it, about how you were kind of able to get in contact with all these people and produce for them. How did you do it? How did you do it? Because I'm very curious myself, honestly.
I was just consistent on posting on social media. I wasn't too keen on marketing. I didn't really care too much about how many people are watching me. I cared about who's watching me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
At least for me, like my goal wasn't to attract a lot of people. It was to attract the right people, which are musicians, right?
Okay.
So I would cater my content towards musicians. So I would start posting like a lot of content on my Instagram regarding music. If I get a new plugin or if I learn something cool about
on
audio
TikTok
engineering,
too.
production.
I've seen you posted on TikTok
Yeah.
as well. It was actually
So,
a lot of the content that I saw from you was on TikTok, honestly. And you would have, for example, countdowns or lists. Is that correct?
not exact. I just give advice, to be honest. But yeah, so I guess I would have like lists of just sound advice. How can you sound better? How can you make better music? And how can you just get to the next level in music? You know. And I would just always post, and a bunch of local musicians would reach out to me. And honestly, the reason I did that was to attract more musicians to my audio engineering business, so I could record more artists in the studio.
Okay. So here's what I have to add to that as well. In regards to providing value without asking for money. So the whole entire idea, especially when in regards to marketing, it's give, ask, right? So to be able to have a second platform that you're able to grow and you're able to kind of get the numbers and get the audience on that and get the attention on that.
Yeah.
At that point, when you grow that number, then you're able to transition that same exact attention to your other business, to something that would actually make you money. We have a lot of examples of professionals, of people who've already made money, who are using the ability that everybody knows them. They're using that to teach classes. They're using that to for their own benefit.
Right.
So that's the power of social media. That is the power of social media.
Exactly. So essentially, like, as I kept on doing that, a lot of people would reach out to me, and I became familiar with a lot of the musicians in the area, and I just started working with a lot of people. And eventually, through mutuals, I started meeting more and more people. I started getting in contact with videographers, other creatives that just live in the music realm.
Okay.
And through collaboration with them and through just being around them, you know, like I was just around. Like people just thought I was cool. I guess they liked me being around, so I just kept on being around, you know. So I started off being around like DC artists, and then working with a couple of DC artists. Like I ran into ASAP Ant on a video shoot.
Okay.
Which is really cool. Like he was a really nice dude, you know. And then at that point, I realized, honestly, like meeting these super successful artists is not that hard. You just have to be around the right people and get in the right rooms. So what I picked up is I was like, okay, so if I was a musician and an artist, what do I always need? Just in general. Nowadays, everyone needs content, right?
Right.
So what I would do is I got a Sony camera, and I would walk around with the camera around my neck.
Okay.
And whenever I'd go into these rooms, everyone would be like, hey, get a couple of photos of me. I just start taking photos, and that's the easiest way to get cool with people. And everyone would be like, oh, what's your Instagram? I want you to send me these. So I would DM them on Instagram. And essentially what happened was, once they follow me, they see that I'm a musician.
Okay.
And then they would ask questions like, oh, you make beats? Oh, you produce and all of that? And I just built an even stronger connection, you know?
So you would walk in without even advertising that you are a producer, because the second that they would tell you, you would tell them, hey, by the way, I'm a producer, this and this is my name, they're automatically uninterested, because the amount of people that approach them, telling them that they're fucking producers is insane. So you being different, you being just relaxing, not giving a fuck, honestly. And this is part of sales, funny enough. Whenever I'm selling something, I don't sell something. It's the easiest way to say it. When I sell something, I'm selling nothing. I'm selling myself. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? How's life? I talk about, to clients, for example, I talk about my fucking life and their personal life, and I get to know them way before. And they come to me. They're like, hey, I mean, I see what you're doing. I like the service that you're giving. Why don't you work with us? And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah, so that's exactly how it happened. But I realized, like, I'm a musician. I don't have to go out and keep on telling people I'm a musician. I make beats. Because I do too many things. Like, there's not like a label for me, you know? So I don't like telling people I do X, Y, and Z. I just do everything, you know?
Yeah,
so essentially, like...
And funny enough, if you're watching this shit right now, Aman set up the whole entire fucking. This is the best this room has ever looked, and ever since this room has existed. Okay, this is the best this room has fucking looked. So again, back to the topic. So, would you like to disclose the people that you were able to get in contact with, and kind of how that happened? We love stories here.
Okay, so I mean, I'll just be straightforward. So basically, what happened beginning of 2022 is through me just being me, posting social content on social media. A producer that I always knew, I didn't realize he was signed to a major label called Taylor Gang. Right?
Okay.
So essentially, like, I didn't really find out until like way later, until like months after. But essentially, he was like, hey, I'm thinking about opening up a studio in the area called Wolfpack Studios. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. I'd love to be a part of that, because at the time I only had a small home studio, basically. I didn't really have a real studio, and this is my first step into like an actual real studio space. And on top of that, I got offered to be like the head engineer. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So that all started in like January of 2022. We started working for a couple months, and I didn't know he knew all of these people until I spent more and more time with him. He's basically like a up and coming label producer. He has songs with really, really big people that hopefully they're gonna come out this year. But he gave me a lot of advice. He was basically like my mentor in a way. You know?
Okay.
And he was one of the main people that brought me around a lot of the big people I have met. You know.
Okay. So what do you think about mentors or mentorship programs? What do you think about people coming to you and being like, hey, pay me this much? And I know I'm not saying he paid you. I don't think he paid you to begin with.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when people create these programs and they're like, okay, hey, pay me this much, I'll teach you everything I know. What do you think about that? Would you personally take an offer like that if you didn't already know your buddy?
I mean, another way to look at it is that's like a personal trainer. You pay personal trainers, right?
You pay personal trainers.
So it's the same idea.
At the same time, personal trainers, if they're not getting you results, then they're not getting you results. Then that's it. You don't work with them.
I mean, but think about it like this: the person you hire, for example, like a personal trainer, you don't hire a fat personal trainer. You don't. You hire someone that's really fit, or someone that's where you're at, or where you want to be at, basically, right? So if you want to be shredded and have a six pack, you're gonna hire someone that's shredded and has a six pack. Now, because if they could do it, then you can do it. You know. And
then comes the dilemma: is if you are different from them, and they show you that the exact path that you took to get to where they're at, and it's not working for you because you're a different person. Not what's gonna work for you is not gonna work for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna come back to you and they're gonna blame you for not working hard enough. They're gonna put that shit on you. And so, that's something I'm seeing nowadays, dude. Everyone is doing that. There's courses, there's fucking programs, there's this, there's that. And if you're not doing well, if you're not part of the fucking 2% that's doing amazing, somehow it's your fault. When you're in a corrupt kind of, I wouldn't call it environment, but you're in a corrupt course. All courses nowadays fucking do that almost.
Well, you know, I see what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, with me, I didn't really exactly like pay money, but instead I gave my time and like.
It's other time or money. It's literally other time or money.
So I just gave my time and like my resources, because I have a bunch of skills like content creation. I'm very outgoing. I'm good at talking to people. So every day I'll just work and try to get more and more people to come to the studio, you know. And through that, and Wally basically just would teach me new things, like industry top secret stuff, like no one knows, you know. And I learned that through audio engineering, music production, and then literally like small things like he would teach me every day, and it just added up. Now I feel really confident where I am now, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So I really like appreciate like the time I was there, you know.
So what's next for Aman?
So
without saying too much, obviously, what's next for Aman?
Yeah, like you're right. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but essentially, like my time working for Wolfpack, I basically spent almost like I'd say like 9 months with Wolfpack, and it was a dream. Literally everything I wanted as a kid, like I would dream of working with like record labels like Sony Music, Warner Music, and being in these big studios around these really famous people. And I had it this year. I did everything I wanted, like when it comes to my dream, and then I got to a point of realization, be like, okay, like now what? Like I did everything I wanted, and it made me realize that working with these super successful people, working with these major labels is not what I want. I mean, it was a blessing, and I learned a lot from them. Okay. I really appreciate the wisdom like all these people like gave me. Mm-hmm. However, everything they're doing, I can do myself. You know,
the people that are successful, you're saying,
yeah,
absolutely,
so
100%.
Everything, like,
of course,
like for example, like let's say Drake, for example, right? Let's say I meet Drake and I talk to Drake and I get into rooms with him. Obviously, Drake is already super successful. He doesn't really need me, you know.
Of course.
And for me, he's more of a mentor in that situation where being around him, I get to see how he moves. I get to see how he talks and interacts with people, how he carries himself. There's a lot for me to learn, but I've gotten to a point where I've seen so many people who are successful that I realize they all move and basically they move the same way, you know?
Exactly.
All successful people move in the same way. They take care of their mental health. They put their physical health to a high regard, you know? And in terms of music, a lot of these musicians that are super successful now, music wasn't their like first
niche.
It wasn't their niche. They had money before that. Okay. So for example, Drake, he was an actor. I don't know too much about his life, but he was an actor, right?
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so he was in Degrassi. If you know what Degrassi is.
Probably heard about it. I can't.
Anyway, so Drake was he was like a teenage actor. You know? Okay. So he had money to spend to get studio time and stuff like that, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't know how well off his family was, but yeah. And then a lot of other rappers, they rap about selling drugs and stuff like that. I'm not going to name names, but for the most part, they rap about that because they did it in the past, you know? Okay. So a lot of rappers, they did a lot of, like, I guess, illegal stuff to make their money, or they had some type of, basically they had some type of financial income, right?
Yep.
Before they started the music. Once they built their brand as artists, they took that to basically build more and more avenues of income. So, you see what I'm saying?
Of course. So we're talking about brands here. Yeah. When somebody thinks of Aman, what do they think of? What is your brand? What kind of differentiates your production? What kind of differentiates? I mean, I can answer that answer for you right now, right here. But I kind of want to hear your side of it as well. Like, what kind of differentiates you? What makes you different from all the other producers, content creators / even musicians?
What I would say what differentiates me is, well, first, I'm still a work in progress. My brand is not where I want it to be 100%. Basically, what differentiates me between one person to another is a lot of people, they're in it for the wrong reasons, right?
Okay.
So they see the amount of money they can make or the amount of fame they can get, or they see point A to point B. They don't see anything in between.
Okay.
Makes sense? So for them, it's more about, okay, if I do this now, I can get this. Or if I put this much money into this, I can make more money. Or if I meet X, Y, and Z people, then I can have clout, you know?
Capitalize on that, of course.
So for people always have ulterior motives from what I've learned, right? And for me, like, at the end of the day, like, I don't really want too much. As long as I'm having fun, I can take care of my family and, like, just work on myself and become a better person. That's all I care about. So for me, personally, I like to add like my own personal touch to things. I actually want people to like grow and learn from me and build with me. You know, I don't want to just like have transactional relationships where I do something for you, you do something for me. That's it. You know,
right?
I actually want to spend time and cultivate relationships because you never know when they're gonna need those people. Whoever they are, they could be the next Bill Gates. They could be the next person you need. They could be your next car mechanic. Like, you never know when you're going to need these people, you know? And being on good terms with people and building, like, really strong relationships is honestly what makes me different from, like, every other producer. Because every other producer, all they care about is money.
Absolutely.
They think, oh, if I meet you, then I can get XYZ bigger producers email from you. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I can send them my beats and then get a placement. And now I'm working with all these people. Now I'm making all this money. Mm-hmm. Or if I become friends with you and that I could take advantage of you and get into rooms with all these bigger people. So people always have ulterior motives. They want
to be your friend
people, basically. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I learned. And at the end of the day, like, there's only so much you can get from that, you know?
Agreed.
You have to have like a genuine desire doing what you're doing, regardless of whatever it is, whether it's business, whether it's fitness, whether it's music. You need to have the desire inside to actually like do it, you know? Or else eventually you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna have everything, but you won't feel fulfilled.
That's what I'm saying. If anything in life was easy, it was never worth it.
Exactly.
At all. I can put even fucking women as an example, bro. If a woman comes easy, you will no longer be attracted to this woman. Same exact thing applies to every single thing in fucking life. If for example, a business comes easy, if anything comes easy, it's not going to be worth it. If your only goal is to make money, you can make money. Yeah, absolutely, sure. You can make money. But then what happens after is much more important than what's going on during the time that you are making money. Because I always say this, right? To a certain extent, when you do have a certain amount of money, money just becomes a fucking number. Honestly, it doesn't become, there's no value to money. It's either a number in your bank account or a piece of paper. Right. That's why you have the most educated investors, the people who are into real estate that say never put your money in a bank account. It is absolutely useless there. Yeah, sorry, money today costs more than money tomorrow because inflation and shit. But that's kind of the whole entire gist of it. And being able to figure out how to make money, there's a lot of ways to do it, bro. Yeah. There's so many fucking ways. It absolutely amazes me how there's people that don't pick a craft or don't pick something or don't want to do anything outside of their 9-to-5 job. I would rather just sit on the fucking couch and do absolutely nothing with their lives. I don't understand that. I genuinely do not get that. You know, you're one person who I view as somebody who's kind of doing and has their shit together, who's doing everything that they desire to do. And you have something way more powerful than money. You have something way more powerful than time, and that's connections. You have shit going on in the back end that nobody knows about. Not even me. I mean, I'm talking to you. I've known you for such a fucking long time. I don't know a lot of the shit that you do.
For me, this is a really big thing I learned, like, just growing up. I don't really like to make things public unless it's, like, for sure, certain 100%, you know? So until it's 100% locked in and it's already done, I don't like speaking about it, you know?
I agree with that so much. It's not even funny how much I agree with that. So when it comes to, you know, you've been doing this for, you said 12 years almost. Yeah. What advice do you give to aspiring producers or to people who kind of want to have these experiences that you've had and be able to kind of capitalize on that and do more with their production than what they're already doing right now?
So my advice for like musicians to just be better and like grow is, first, it's hard. Like, it's so hard. Like, I wish like there was more like education and more like resources for creatives to have to learn, you know? Because for me, like, the way I learned is I read the manual of FL Studio, like, from top to bottom. There's like a PDF file online. It's when I was like a kid, you know? Okay. And if I could do it like as a kid, then anyone could do it, you know? But a lot of people, they don't learn like that. So personally, the way I learned is I wasn't trying to learn, you know? I was just having fun. Like, I was just experimenting. I tried new things every day. I touched new buttons. I turned new knobs. And eventually it just started making sense. Oh, this does this. Oh, this does this. And eventually, like, I started putting words to what I was doing. And it started making sense to me. So my advice, like, specifically is, obviously everyone says this, don't give up, but don't give up. Essentially, it's hard. It's so hard to get into music because there's not enough teaching and there's not enough resources, you know?
High level, a lot of competition.
There's a lot of competition too.
Jesus.
Like, for example, I don't know piano. You know, I only know theory. So I can draw in notes, but I can't play music like actual pianists, you know? Or guitarist. I don't know how to do that. So I have even more competition, but most producers are like me, they're samplers. Okay. They take music that's already made and they make it into a completely different sound using effects and whatnot, you know?
That's all you need, though. Do you really need to sit there and fucking and then actually make the beat? I know a guy who I used to work with as well. He was within the area, and all he would use is just the piano, and he would just put different sounds on the different keys, and he would just know each and every single one. And I would just
see,
sit
I
there
can't do that.
and watch him. Yeah,
But
good to
basically,
know. But
okay, so
Charlie
this
Puth does that, bro.
yeah, see, Charlie Puth
Oh
is different.
my
Okay, he's like a different breed. Like he has perfect pitch. So basically, like
Okay,
the note I'm speaking right now, he'll tell you. So if I'm speaking at G, he'll tell me, "Hey, you're speaking G." I'm like, "How?" It's just some people they're naturally born with this skill, right?
Okay.
They can just like deduce, oh, this is A, this is C, just sound. They
Okay.
can make sound into music, so it's really cool. But forget Charlie Puth. He's like he's
level.
another
Okay.
level.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
prodigy. But anyways, like obviously I'm not Charlie Puth, but this is actually good advice. So everyone has their strength, and you won't realize it until you do it. So try everything. So some people actually have skills like Charlie Puth. They just don't know, you know. So unless you try, you won't realize.
You won't realize it.
So
of
try
course.
playing piano, try playing guitar, try playing the drum pad, and maybe like out of all of these, something will resonate with you. Or even if you're like me, where you just make your music on your computer and you're just clicking things in, maybe that resonates with you. And there's so many specific things you can just focus on. Like I know people that just make melodies in music, or they just make drums, or they just compose things. Like they just take, oh, okay, so this is a really nice intro. This would be a really good selection for the verse. This is the hook, you know, and you can just orate everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
kind of like A&R a record. Kind of
Okay.
That's kind of like what DJ Khaled does. Kind of
Okay.
puts the right people together with the right beats, with the right songwriting, you know?
Okay, okay.
So there's a lot of different spaces you can be in music. So don't limit yourself to one. Don't just put a title on yourself saying that, oh, I'm a music producer, so I only make beats. Try songwriting. Try being an A&R. Try getting different musicians in the room. Get a guitarist. Tell them what to do.
Okay.
You know, and just try different things. Try new things. You know.
There was a quote that I heard, funny enough, working on a 9-to-5 job. This was, I don't know, almost a year ago. I heard this quote, and there's this one I wouldn't call him wise, but there's this one old man that was speaking to me, and he was like, everything is hard. And this stuck with me till this day, which is
Yeah.
fucking insane. He was like, everything is hard until you first do it.
Yeah.
Everything is hard until you actually go through with it and do it.
Right.
And that goes into songwriting, that goes into everything as well. And something I've noticed, it's a very interesting topic you're talking about, because you have in marketing, if we're talking about branding something, it's best to, okay, you could be good at every other thing, okay?
Yeah.
But in order to market yourself, you have to be the best, or you have to be super different at one particular thing, because that's going to be your selling point. And with music, it's not really like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like that at all. Because it's like, if there's so many different people that come in and they want you to be a jack of all trades. They want you to know every single thing about each note and how to do it, and you know. So with music, it's not at all like that. So it's a whole entire different universe. I mean, you can call music a business, but it's not a business. It's an art.
Yeah.
It's literally an art.
Yeah.
I mean, every single art, every single niche is completely different, and people are so focused on creating a business and having some type of monetary value come through their business that they stopped giving a fuck about just having any type of art. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely my take on that. Mm-hmm. So in the future, who would you want to collaborate with? If you want to, is there like an artist who you really look up to, who you're like, fuck man, if I work with this guy, I would be 10 times where I'm at right now, or anything in regards to that?
You know, this is an interesting question. And I had a lot of people I wanted to work with in terms of musicians and artists. But right now, honestly, like for like the next 6 months, I just want to focus on working on myself. Because I realized like I've been doing music for 12 years, probably more, like if I really go back. But honestly, I need to just spend time working more on myself, you know?
Okay.
Because at the point I am now, like there's a lot of people I can work with. I can work with so many different people. But personally, what has happened with me is I spent so much of my time doing stuff for other people that I never took time for myself to do something for myself. So this year I'm gonna really like prioritize myself in music, work on building my own records, writing my own songs, producing my own tracks, you know?
Okay.
And yeah,
So,
honestly, right now I don't really want to work with too many people.
So let me just a question. But work with too many people, you're talking from a producer point of view. If you were to make a song with somebody, who would be kind of your go-to person? Who's like, oh damn, even if it's somebody who you know, who's, you know, somebody you've seen, you've met, you haven't met, who's somebody that you're like, damn, this person would fit perfectly within within my songs?
I mean, for me, like music is fun. So I would say like my friends.
Your friends?
Yeah,
Okay.
like no, I'm being serious. Like my friend, like after working in the music industry so long, a lot of my friends are successful musicians or like they're up and coming artists, you know?
Okay.
So I'd love to work with them because I've spent so much time building and growing with them.
Okay.
Why not? Why not? You know, I know them in and out.
Fuck it, right?
You know,
right.
and if anything, I'll be able to work with them and like collaborate with them better than anyone else. So I'd rather just bet on my friends and the people around me than
together.
super successful artists. Because I'm like, if I get a feature from a like Lil Wayne, for example, it's not going to change my life. It's not going to do anything. Yeah, maybe it'll be a cool song and whatnot. But at the stage I am right now, it's not really a good investment for me to try to get a big feature, right? I need to build my own catalog of music that's released and out, not just the songs I have in my phone in my folder. Because releasing songs and having songs are two different things.
Let's talk numbers here. How many songs do you have that are completely unreleased?
A lot, bro.
Jeez, this is all with you in it. Each and every single one is you in it.
I told you, I've been writing my own music.
I know.
I've been working on my own songs.
And I get that, but how many, dude? Because
it does a lot, bro.
Because me personally, I mean, I have a few songs that I haven't released from a while back. But then you're a producer. You can fucking say 3-4 lines in a mic and then create that into a whole entire song whenever you want.
I mean, if we're to, let me give you an example of beats. So I was going through my old hard drive, and I counted that I had 10,000 beats.
Okay.
I don't know. I just had it. Like it was just in my hard drive. Like since I was 10, what I would do when I was 10 was I had an iPad. I didn't have like a phone at the time. So what I would do is I used to post beat snippets when you could only post 15 seconds of video.
Okay.
And then
that's
eventually
that's on
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
Yeah. So on Instagram you could only post 15 seconds, and eventually that became 30 seconds a couple years after. And this was when I was like 12 or 13. You know. Because at first I was shy. Like I didn't like showing people my stuff.
Okay.
You know. And I posted some of the worst beats ever. You know.
Okay.
But somehow that added up to be 10,000. Like on my old.
This is the beats that you made.
Yeah.
You've made 10,000 beats, and
I don't know. I probably made more.
God.
This is just all my old hard drive. This year I made close to like 300, 400 beats, something like that.
This year?
This year, like this 2022.
Okay.
My priority wasn't making beats, so it wasn't like.
It was more producing. So the beats are just beats are only when somebody comes in without a beat already and tells you to make that beat for them.
Yeah. For what I've learned is like making beats is one thing, but making a song is another thing. So like now my focus is more on making finished songs than just making beats.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, and you go through the whole entire process as well.
Because beats are not. I have all these beats sitting on my computer. They're not doing anything, but songs you can release. You know.
Okay.
So even like beats, like for example, like EDM songs or classical music compositions, those are songs. They're not beats because they're written in a way that they can be put out. You know.
Okay. And what are some of the techniques that you use to create unique sounds or things that are just specifically for you?
To create unique sounds? I mean, first what I do is I know audio engineering and I know sound design. So I have a familiarity with how synthesizers work, and I can basically manipulate sound to however I want. Just because I've learned all this stuff for vocal production. And now doing all of that, I can take it back into the actual music, and I can take a piano and make it sound however I want. There's now AI tools where you can literally take your voice and turn it into like a string instrument or a guitar, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different places you can play around with your sound. Personally, I like more like ambient. Open, spacey sounds, you know? And through like engineering, you can basically do anything you want, you know?
So we're talking about ambient, such as like Joji, for example. When he makes songs and he sings, you're talking about more like mellow, nothing too wild. Is that what you mean by ambient?
Yeah. So ambient could be like Josie. Ambient is kind of like The Weeknd. His music's kind of ambient too.
Okay.
Travis Scott, his music's kind of ambient. You see what I'm saying?
So nothing that's like X, basically, for example.
No, his music's ambient too.
Well, X, when he screams, at least is what I'm saying.
Oh wait, no, yeah, that's very like upfront, like.
Okay.
I like more like, I like R&B music, you know.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a market for that too. And what's weird is that there's a lot of artists that were kind of conquering not only a single genre. They were conquering multiple genres and being successful at each and every single one of them. X is another example. So he was doing what fucking he did sad songs, from like super hype songs to rap to
You know why
classic.
I think he did that?
Why?
To get attention.
He was the only one doing that though at the time.
No, but he did that on purpose because back then he didn't really have access to a fancy studio or anything. So he just record at home. You know, he didn't know how to record properly. All he knew is how to distort his vocals. So he was like, you know what? Let me just distort this more from what I think he did, you know? Because it was a crazy sound like no one has heard of before. All this distorted, like, look at me type sound, you know? Like him screaming, yelling in the mic. Everything's so super loud. It sounds dirty, distorted.
Obnoxiously loud.
You know,
to the point that it's good. It's actually enjoyable to listen to. I mean, I've listened to him a long time ago as well, and I used to listen to him, you know, when I was years ago. We're talking, and it was very good. He was actually one of my favorite artists. Even though, and here's the thing: when you like an artist, you like all their music. It doesn't matter if they push out some shitty ass song, you're gonna like it like 90% of the time, unless it's Drake's last album. We're not gonna talk about that, but there's a lot of there's a lot of music where it's just it's the artist is the face, and they brand themselves as themselves
For sure,
so that's something we can even get into as well. Back to your very creative story, because I mark you, like I said, when I tell my friends about you, I call you basically a genius almost. You've done shit that you would only find in fucking rare ass books that basically nobody talks about them. One example that we can use is when you use just a camera to walk in. You never advertise yourself as a musician. You were able to meet up with a bunch of artists. Who were you able to kind of hang out with at the time?
I mean, so most recently, this August, I was invited to go on tour with Taylor Gang, and basically I got to meet Wiz Khalifa. I got to meet 24kgoldn. Logic was there. DJ Drama was there. There's actually a lot of people in Atlanta. Zac Efron was there. I'm mad. I missed Zac Efron.
Okay. I was gonna say. Why was Zac Efron there?
Bro, it's so funny. I don't exactly know why. So he's at the show in Atlanta, and he's just there. Like he was just watching the show and. Was he
friends with any of the musicians?
Bro, everyone knows Zac Efron. Of course,
Zac Efron, right? But I'm saying there's a difference between just an actual friend and somebody who you know through business, or somebody who's like, oh, fuck it.
So from what I understood, and what happened was Zac Efron just walked into the backstage.
just right away.
I think he walked into the backstage, and then like security stopped him.
Of course.
Like, hey, like, what are you doing? You know? It's just like, I'm Zac Efron. He walked in. From my understanding, that's what happened.
That's what
happened. And I saw Zac Efron. They're like, hey, that's Zac Efron. Let him in.
It's funny because as a rich person, you get more free shit, even though you're fucking rich. It doesn't. It makes no sense to me. But anywho, yeah.
Yeah. So Zac Efron was there. I'm mad I didn't get to meet him.
Okay.
808 Mafia was there. Bro, there's literally so many people. Like I met photographers that worked with like Drake and Lil Baby.
Okay.
I met so many different producers. So many different artists, so many different songwriters,
and none of them knew you were a producer. Well, no, for the most part, at least. But I'm saying,
when they first see me, they didn't really know me because I'm new, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like the new guy walking around, but that's one thing I didn't understand until I was there. They treated me like family. Like they really took care of me, you know. Even though in a way I was a stranger to them, just because I was cool with a couple people in the record label. They just took care of me. They treated me like I was one of them, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it just felt nice, you know? Like, I came from nothing and they actually like treat me like I know something, like I can contribute in conversations. Whereas when I would talk to people here around me, local artists, when I would give them advice, they'd be like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And then over there, some of the most successful people, like they would actually value what I would say and just talk to me, you know? Like, I remember when I was talking to Wiz, like, we were talking about, like, working out and stuff.
Okay.
And he was telling me about, like, how
he wanted to go to the gym or whatever?
No. He's super fit. He works out every day.
I don't know shit about what's going on. I don't know nothing about him.
He does, like, Muay Thai every day and stuff.
Does he?
But, yeah, he was telling me, like, how he makes his, like, protein shakes. He likes, he takes his, like, peanut butter protein.
Okay.
Because he's, like, bulking right now, you know?
Okay.
So, I mean, that was back then. I don't know if he's still bulking right now, but... It's just these small things. Like I was just chilling with them, you know. It's just cool. Like it wasn't even on like music stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like we're just chilling and hanging out. And I got to see another side of these people, like regular people don't see, you know. And
again, they're regular people too.
They're just regular people, exactly.
Regular people.
And it was just cool.
You're talking to somebody who, Like you know their status, you know their background, but at the same time you're talking to just a regular ass person, having a regular ass conversation. So it's interesting only if you're fanboying over it. But then you were cool.
No, for sure. That's one thing I did notice. I didn't realize how many people like fanboyed over these artists until I met like the artists. You know, people would like cry. They wouldn't know how to talk in front of these people, you know? Like when they would meet like a Wiz or Logic or Golden, you know? And it was ridiculous. Like I never knew until I saw it, you know? Because that was my first time really, really seeing it in person, you know? And what I learned from them is these people, these artists I met, they've been doing it for a long time. This is why they're there. It's not like they got lucky. No, you know, they really worked. Like Wiz, he was an intern. He was an intern at the studio in Pittsburgh. It's called ID Labs, and basically, like, he just would get people stuff. Like, he wasn't even doing engineering or anything. Like, if the producer needed like food, or he needed to smoke something, or he just needed water or something, Wiz would just go grab it. And I guess in exchange, like, he would just record like at night, you know. Okay. Eventually, one of the producers and engineers heard like some of his songs. They liked him, and they wanted to help him out, you know. Okay. And that's how he got into it. One of those songs became Black and Yellow, right? Okay. And now he's at where he's at, you know. Obviously, there's a lot of like time I'm skipping, but basically, like, he started from nothing, you know. Yeah. And he's been doing it for so long, and through dropping albums and albums that I guess like people didn't really like I guess it didn't blow up to the extent he is now. Okay. He had a lot of music, and he kept on making music, you know. So he had a lot of experience, and he put his like 10,000 hours in, way more than that, you know. Same thing with Logic. Logic's from around here. He's from Maryland. Is from Maryland. Yeah, he's from Maryland. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people around the DMV, they knew Logic. They're like, oh, okay, he drops mixtapes and stuff like that. Okay. And he's been dropping music for a while. Like when we were in high school and stuff, that's when he was like bubbling up a little bit. Okay. And yeah, bro, he was just like a DMV artist. Like he wasn't that big. And then he kept on dropping and dropping. He started getting sound like globally. Like people really like liked his sound, you know? Yeah. He kept on going and going. And then eventually one of his songs was that Suicide Hotline song. Okay. And that went diamond. He got an award for that. Shit. Because basically that song was about like committing suicide and that like commit suicide. Okay. It's because they don't feel like they have anyone to talk to, and they can't talk to anyone. Okay. You know? So, and the song was basically like the suicide hotline number. So then it's easy for people just to so basically like it worked as marketing, almost not marketing. I wouldn't call it marketing, but it gave exposure to that actual number. Yeah. So basically, like what happened was, I don't know exactly the number, but it increased the amount of people who felt like depressed to actually use the hotline, use the resource, and actually talk to someone about it. You know, so like he took his platform and used it for something completely different, which is really cool, you know? Okay. Like, and what's crazy is all of these artists that I was around, they were diamond, you know? Yeah. Wiz, obviously he's diamond. He made that song with Charlie Puth, See You Again, you know? Okay. And being a diamond artist, that's like just only like a handful. Yeah. There's not that many diamond songs, you know? Kanye West, Drake, like some of the top people. And then we have Golden. Golden, you know how old Golden is? He's 21, bro. He's like 22, like our age. Jesus. Okay. And literally, like, yeah, I think Mood Swings is diamond. Mood Swings is diamond too. I might be wrong. I don't know. But regardless, like, it was charted like Billboard #1 for a long time. You know? Shit, okay. And it goes to show, like, if you put in the time and effort, it doesn't matter how many years you put in. It's a matter of actual work you're doing, you know? And here's what I'm saying too. There's a lot of, and I spoke about this on my last podcast too. There's a lot of people who are just one day away from blowing up. You never know. Maybe you're recording a song and you're not doing very, very good at the song, and one day you drop that song and then you get millions. You have no idea when that day is gonna fucking be. Right, you just have to be there for the journey no matter what, because you don't know. You genuinely don't know. So to get that break, I like to call it, a lot of artists get it. YouTubers do the same exact thing. Even anybody on social media gets a single break, where they get one video that's popping, that's beyond famous, everybody listens to it, everybody loves it, and then that's kind of how they start to build themselves up from that point forward. Honestly, the biggest thing I noticed and learned is the reason why, or I wouldn't say it's the main reason, but a reason why they're able to be so successful is their environments. And I feel like environments are so important because
Yep.
if you're around the right people that are like-minded, like there's a saying, you become the people you're around. You know?
Yep.
So if you're around like-minded people, if you're around successful musicians, you're bound to become successful, right?
Of course.
If you're around really wealthy people, you're gonna become wealthy in a way.
So let me ask you a question. How do you get yourself around these successful people?
Well, back before I even started working with like bigger artists, I worked in Tyson's Corner.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And Tyson's Corner, like if you don't know what Tyson's Corner is, it's kind of like the nice, like it's like a nice like upscale area in Virginia.
Yep.
And Virginia is already really nice, you know. So basically, in Tyson's Corner, they have like the really like high end malls, you know. So back before I wanted to work in Tyson's, I was like, wait, where do like successful people go? You know.
Yep.
Well, they have a lot of money, so they're probably gonna go to the nice restaurants in Tyson's. They're probably gonna go spend a lot of money on clothes.
Yeah.
Obviously, like wealthy people don't have to spend money to be wealthy.
Yep.
However, wealthy people, they're just around wealth, you know. So whether that's if you value nice food or you not value nice clothes, or Tyson's just has nice places like parks and stuff you can walk around, you know, and there's like nice homes there and stuff. So regardless, like there's just you have to be someone to be there, you know.
Of course.
Or you need to know someone to be there. So I met a lot of people that dress like they are really wealthy, just to give that perception that
nobody believes that these people that dress like they're wealthy are actually wealthy. Nobody believes it. Nobody believes it.
100%.
They're doing it for absolutely no reason.
They're doing it for clout.
And they're working They're working a regular ass 9 to 5 fucking job, dressed in all this the quote unquote bling. All right, and nobody is giving you validation for it. Nobody cares that you have a fucking
no one really
scarf
cares.
From Gucci that's fucking $900. Nobody cares, genuinely.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't like to spend money on anything that's useless. I like to spend money on things that are able to give me a return each and every single time. That's why I'm not fucking driving around in rental cars or whatever, fucking high-end luxury cars. Sure, I have friends who have luxury cars. I drive around with them. I test drive them. I chill around with them and all that. But I just don't waste my money on useless ass shit. It's as simple as that.
But yeah, that's what I noticed. Like people that are actually like super wealthy and successful, they just walk around in like the most simple clothes. Like
they're chilling.
Like just like
Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler is a prime example. This guy is wearing fucking basketball shorts, a regular ass shirt, a stained shirt. Yeah, just walking around regularly.
I wouldn't say stained shirt, but that's him. But normally, like they just wear like neat, like simple clothes, like clothes you can find at like Target.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. There's people that just literally don't care, and those are the people that are actually being wealthy. Because it's not, you can't just act like a rich person and be rich. That's not what's gonna happen. You have to act like a rich person before they were rich in order to be rich.
It's more like a mentality, you know.
It's more like a mentality. So back to the question of surrounding yourself with people. How do you surround yourself with people who are either like-minded or people who are rich? You have to basically change your mindset and be able to be rich before you are rich. You have to be able to. That's why I recommend meditating all the time.
100%.
I recommend meditating because meditating allows you to live in a reality that you are not currently in.
Yeah, for sure.
And some ways I've noticed is simply just by focusing on myself and by waking up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning, not even 6, 5 a.m. in the morning, going to the gym every single day, meditating every single day, talking to clients, talking to people, working on my business. I automatically, without even trying, I started to meet new people that were wealthy, that had money.
You know, that's another thing I would do. So I go to a nice gym.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So
okay.
That's one thing like I found out. Like at first I was like, damn, it's kind of expensive. But I started going and at first it's more motivating because everyone there, like they're there to like actually like work out and like get fit. And a lot of the people there, they're like really physically, they're physically fit. Like they look really good, you know?
Yep.
And on top of that, it's not that just that. Like when you pull up, there's so many nice cars and these people are like beyond wealthy, you know? They really care about their health.
Of course.
So for wealthy people, health is the number one like thing for them.
Of course.
Because what's the point of having all this money if you can't enjoy it, you know?
Exactly.
So because of that, I met so many different people at my gym and like I was able to network with them and learn from them and like gain value from them. And just being around, like I said, like the way I learned it, I kind of just absorb things. Yeah. So if I see someone talking and I see how they're walking and how they're behaving, like I just learn from them, you know?
The gym is the only place to have a casual conversation with high-end people. If you go anywhere else, if you go to a let's say a festival, a business festival where everyone is wearing suits and ties. You have to talk professional. You have to care about the words that you say. Over there, you could literally be yourself, and if somebody fucks with you, they fuck with you, and that's it. They could have a lot of money, and they could show you and teach you a lot of things. That's how I met a lot of the people that I know as well right now, and I'm advising a lot of these people as well to kind of follow their path, and I'm trying to help them out as much as I can, because they have talents. There's a guy at my gym, wakes up at 4 a.m. every single day. I don't understand how he does that personally.
Right.
Wakes up at 4 a.m, goes to the gym, works out, brings a whole entire camera and stand with him, records himself working out, focuses on a different body part every single day, goes back home, edits that body part, puts some crazy unique ass edits, puts music onto it, and he just pushes it out. And I'm like, bro, you have a camera, you have a very nice physique, and you understand exactly what you're doing. Put some money on that. You can literally sell that service. You can create videos of people just like that, and you can get some money off of that. You have a very good talent. Put it to good use. Right. So there's a lot of people that do have talents and niches and all that things, but there's a lot of people that just don't know how to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
They really don't know how to use it. They're focusing on things that they're not good at, and they think they're stupid. When there's 10,000 other things that they're amazing at, they're very good at, and they're sitting here focusing on one thing that's not working for them, thinking that they're not good enough, when there's a bunch of things that would work for them that they're not even focused on. So it all depends on focusing on your strengths. Honestly, nobody's good at everything. Nobody. And that's something that you've also done as well a lot. Especially you were telling me that you don't even like use the piano to create music.
I mean, I'm learning still. Like, it's not like I'm bad at the piano. It's just not my strength, you know? Like, I enjoy playing piano. I want to learn. Just I haven't had time, you know? So I try to set aside like maybe 10-15 minutes every day just touch
to learn the piano
and just build the muscle memory to actually play piano.
And then another point that I can even go into in regards to muscle memory, if you do a single task every single day, you'll automatically, it takes 14 days, they say, to create a habit. So for example, and it takes like 30 or 40 days or whatever to lose that habit. So if you're doing something for 2 weeks straight, almost, it'll become automatically a habit, and you will not be able to go on without it without feeling some type of
I thought it was like 60 something days
to create a habit.
Yeah, it was 60.
It takes less to create a habit than it takes to forget a habit. I think 60 days is to forget a habit.
Okay, maybe.
And then it takes a much shorter amount of time to
I see what you're saying.
A habit.
Yeah.
But either way,
that doesn't matter.
Honestly doesn't matter. But putting yourself in a situation or in a standpoint that will enable you to correlate and get in touch with people who are high end, high value people per se, is always going to be essential. Aman, any other last words, any other advice to the people who want to kind of be in your shoes and experience the things that you're experiencing? Go ahead.
So basically, like, this is probably like the best thing I've learned. So regardless of what people tell you, the way humans learn is through our own mistakes, right? So like we have to, someone can tell me like 100 times, oh, do this or do this or do that, and you'll be successful. But at the end of the day, like, there's this like innate things to humans, at least with me, like, unless I don't mess up and fail in something I believe in, then it doesn't like fulfill me, if that makes sense. It doesn't, I don't feel satisfied, you know?
Of course.
So whether that's me taking a jump into music or going into whatever aspect or any field I want, like, if I feel really strongly about something, regardless of what people tell me, oh, like, you're not suited for this, or you're better off doing this, or you know, like, since I feel a certain type of way, I have to do it, you know? Words
are very important too.
Exactly.
Words are extremely important. If somebody, for example, there's a few amount of words that I never use. One of them is tired. One of them is exhausted. One of them is the word, or even sentences, full-on sentences. If somebody is in front of me telling me, oh, I don't have respect for myself, I don't do this, I will automatically exit out the room and not be in the same room as them. Because you will start to believe what other people believe in themselves.
Exactly.
So once you become accustomed and vulnerable to that side of people, you start to become, you start to think more like them, more or less.
Right.
So that's something I try to to get away from. That's why I'm very secluded in regards to the people that I put myself
100%.
around. Extremely secluded, but very good advice. It was very amazing actually having you on the podcast. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course.